Sorry, I was just aligning the audio and the... okay. I don't really realized how zoomed in this camera is. Did that work? I don't think so. I don't think it did. I don't really know why I am recording this. But I am. You know, I think it's really crazy. In a week, I am going to England. And, yeah, I'm supposed to be packing right now. I was gonna pack with my grandma, but I'm gonna do that later. So, for now, I am just here. I think the concept of leaving everyone that you know to go to another continent is such an interesting idea. Especially when you're going to England, which is currently going through tough times, I guess. England's never really doing well, I guess. I mean, except when they were... Oh, interesting. Yesterday, my friend bought me some eyeshadow. So I'm just gonna, like... How do I open this? Give me a moment. Opening things is hard. You know... Sometimes, I always think about the trope where people can't open a jar and then the stronger person... It's not really a trope. That actually happens in real life, I guess. Opening jars. My mom used to always ask me to open jars and I could never do it. Oh, I'm actually opening this. Wait. No, I'm not. Okay, I have scissors, right? Oh. I do have scissors. You know what I think I've realized is that, I feel like I've said this before, the most successful thing that we have all learned from kindergarten, at least for me, is to not run with scissors. I think out of everything that you learn, even things like compassion, not everyone has compassion. It sucks, but not everyone has compassion. But I've noticed that one thing that I feel universally people get uncomfortable with is when young children, or on a rare occasion, old children, run with scissors. Because, like, I get afraid. Okay, I'm a bit weird here, because I am also just very scared of sharp things, like knives. Whenever someone's holding a knife, even a butter knife, I need to stay away from them. I was a scout, and as a scout, we had to do, like, knife training. No, like, okay, there was, like, permits. Yeah, so you have fire permits, knife permits, stove and lamp permits, axe permits, and in order to get these, you had to do a certain amount of things. Now, where I was, there was something called permit camp, where you go there and you just do basic things for all the permits, and you are going to get at least your fire permit and your knife permit there. And your knife permit thing, they had something called a blood circle, where basically, if you have a knife, I'm going to use scissors as an example. What is this a metal straw? Remember when these were a thing? Oh my. That was a bad idea. What I was saying was that, yeah, this makes me look kind of smart. Okay. What I was saying is that really, when you think about it, what was I saying? I have a harmonica on my desk. Oh, knives. Okay, so, basically, how do I zoom out? Can I zoom out of this? Webcam. Oh, wait. We'll do that. You hold the knife out, right, like this, or I think it was like this, and you go in a circle. And I think that's your blood circle. And no one's supposed to be there. I don't remember if it was more than that. I know for an axe, it's a lot more. You hold the axe out, but it's also like 3 times that, just in case when you're hitting the axe down, right? Let me get a lightsaber for this. Okay, so you have your axe, right? You go, but let's say it falls out of your hand and it spins. Oh, I have a spinny thing on here. It goes. And then it hits you, and then you die. So what they used to do in Scouts, how do I put this back? Okay, that's why that's so zoomed in, oh my god. Wait. There, okay, so, basically, they would have, like, demarcations around the area, and, like, places where people would often chop firewood. So, I think that's one of the few things that you learn in school, you learn in kindergarten, and that you never forget. At least for me. Maybe I'm just really weird about this, because I have just never really stopped being afraid of sharp things that are being carried around. Yeah, okay, back to the eyeshadow thing. I have opened it, and so I will put it on now. Okay. But anyways, I think it's really interesting that, like, the friends that I have now are not going to be the friends that I'm going to have in a year. I'm still going to keep in touch with my friends. That's true, but I think it's a natural process of life to make new friends. And I think it's an interesting concept, just leaving people. Because, like, for example, I've never moved houses or anything. I've always really been in the same... How the hell do I open this? Oh, I did it. I don't really know what to do with it. It's white. I don't think I should put too much of it. According to my friend, you need to... The world is having an inner eyeshadow thing right now, so I'll try that. Okay, so... Anyways, the basic concept is that I don't have a brush. Okay, so anyway, I need to remember what I was saying because I get distracted too easily. Okay, no, I was saying something. I was inner eyeshadow. No, leaving your friends. Yeah. So I think, like, you know, making friends is part of life. But like, I never moved houses. But so I would never have experienced like something that, like, you know, people who move around a lot might experience, because like, they will have like a complete different set of friends all the time. But I have something similar, I guess, because like I'm not even using a mirror. I'm using a camera, like, as it does not look good. Okay. But basically, I did go to high school that most of the people in my old school did not go to, which, you know, was a whole thing. I never had a great experience in elementary school, I guess. My elementary school experience was not great. So I guess in a small way, it was a good thing that I didn't know anyone, because then the friends I made in high school ended up being much closer friends and better friends, frankly, than the friends I made in elementary school. That looks fine. And so because of this, like, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I think about that, like, is the same thing gonna happen? Because, you know, in elementary school, I never really felt like that was my space, you know, I guess. I did not peak in elementary school. I feel like most people do not peak in elementary school. I really hope I did not peak in high school. That would be really sad. Especially now that I'm leaving high school. I hope that my life is not downhill. I assume it's not. I feel like most people do not peak in high school. That would be sad. Should I put on eyeliner? Maybe. Okay. So the point of this is basically, right, that I'm not going to see my friends or family. Well, I have some family in England, but I actually have no idea how to... This is a terrible idea. It's mirrored. It's mirrored. Okay. Anyways, I was told that I should not close my eyes when doing this because of the type of eye I have. But no, now I'm mixing things up. I'm mixing my stories up. Okay, back to the main story. So, obviously I'm going to make new friends in university. If I don't, that would really suck. So I'm assuming I'm going to make new friends in university. And so if I do, right, this is a bad idea. You know what, it's fine. So I'm assuming if I do make new friends in university, that I would have a different relationship with them than I would my high school friends. It's mirrored, and so it's confusing me a lot. You know, I just, like, put it a line out, okay? It's mirrored and it's confused. That's so terrible. That's so disgustingly horrible. I should have not done this while talking, and not done this with a video. But who cares? Now you can't see it. You can. You definitely can. I hate how mirrored this is. I know how mirrors work, okay? Okay, maybe I'll just play some Townscaper. My cousins made this, who I also will not see for at least 4 months. So, my point right here is that leaving people to meet new people is something that is not exactly easy. I like having the grid on. This is really loud. Okay, I made it quieter. Okay, leaving people to go meet new people is not easy, right? Because you lose people. But I think it was very different for me in the past, because I guess in elementary school, I never really felt like I was missing out on much. Whereas in high school, I guess I do feel like I was missing out on much. Because also, a lot of my friends did not have many friends coming into high school as well. And obviously, that's going to be similar for me in England, because not many people are going to England. So not many people know other people there. And so everyone's going to be really feeling pretty new. And so that, I think, is a really interesting thing. I am not planning the city out at all. I probably should. So I think that is an interesting part of it. But also, I feel like, you know, for a lot of people's lives, I guess, you think about what it would be like to be independent. But then, like, you actually get to that point, and you're like, oh, maybe this is different, you know? Because, like, I don't feel like I want to do everything on my own. That would suck. I'm pretty bad at that, I would say. Am I making suburbs? Oh, God, I'm making suburbs, aren't I? And they're all red. Maybe I'll make it yellow. That's, you know, chalk-colored. I do not want to say piss-colored, so I'll say chalk-colored. But yeah, also another bizarre concept is the fact that I am technically 18 now, which means that I am an adult. I can vote. I have voted. I voted in an election. It did not matter what I voted for, because they did not win. But, I mean, I guess that makes it pretty clear who I voted. You don't even know where I live. I mean, you do know where I live, because most of the people here know who I am. But the point is that I did vote in an election, and that's crazy to me, because, you know, I'd always been wondering what would happen if I could vote. Now I can vote, and it was kind of useless, I guess. Not really. Every vote matters. You know what? Don't think about it that way. You should vote, always. Anyway, my main point is that being an adult is really interesting, and I guess especially because of, like, you know, being stuck inside and not really experiencing a lot of my life in the way that those before me, like my brother, might have at my age. I never really felt like I was an adult. And my brother also said this, like, he doesn't feel like he is his age, I guess. And I don't really feel like I am my age either, because I don't really feel like I experienced enough to be 18. I still feel like when I turned 18 is when I first started to feel like I was 17, because of, you know, not having experienced much. I'm going in circles, aren't I? And I think that, you know, going into university, that's going to be really weird, because I don't think it's good to not think of yourself as an adult when you're an adult, because I feel like that's a bit strange. I feel like maybe for a bit, you know, but I think hopefully I will, you know, start thinking of myself as an adult when after a bit. This is a really disgusting city. I hate it. I hate this so much. Maybe I'll make a grid, okay? That's smart. I'll make a grid. And so I think that's really interesting that I'm going to university for the first time, and, well, obviously for the first time. I'm 18. I mean, maybe I was a super genius that made it to university and failed or something. So I was smart enough to get to university earlier, and then I failed out of it, and then I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah, I think it's really interesting how sometimes, you know, interestingly enough, I know in grade 11, I had felt like I'd already done enough of high school, and I wanted to just leave and go to university. That's what I felt when I was in grade 11, near the end of grade 11. But then now that I'm at the end of grade 12, it's like, you know what, no, maybe I could have done this for another year, right? And I think the circumstances change. I think the biggest difference, I guess, between grade 11 and grade 12 was just the people that I talked to, and the group of friends that I had. Which changed, of course. And, well, not of course, I know a lot of people that don't have groups of friends that change, but I think that, really, maybe what's most indicative of things like high school is not necessarily this high school, but, you know, the people that you talk to. And I think that's maybe the most important thing. I know there's always those videos on YouTube of people like, you know, make sure you surround yourself with friends that have goals. And, like, yeah, sure. I mean, I guess that is important, but I think you should just surround yourself with people that make you not want to leave, I guess. I feel like that's pretty basic advice. Anyways, don't watch weird inspirational people, not inspirational people. There's also the myth of personal responsibility, I guess, which is so interesting because, you know, it was funny. At my school's equity day, funny story, my school had an equity day, which was supposed to talk about, like, inequalities between different people. And they had a speaker there on Equity Day. And the speaker on Equity Day was talking about how there's a story of... It's a fake story, obviously. It's a story for a fact. Of two brothers, okay, that were separated at birth and put into foster care because their parents died. And one brother decided that because he was put into foster care, he would have to, and abused in foster care, he would have to become a good person. Not a good person, I mean like a successful person, right? And that he would have to do all of these, big things. And the other one decided he would give up, and he had terrible circumstances, and now he's poor and begging on the street. And they meet afterwards. That's a terrible story, I'm sorry, but if you were abused in foster care, I think, really, we should not expect you to... I'm not saying you should give up, that's not what I'm saying, but I am saying that for a school equity day, I feel like this sort of ignores a lot of, how you do have an unfair disadvantage, and that maybe we should help you a bit more. And that maybe the point of Equity Day is to teach people that may be a bit more privileged, like I was not abused in foster care, that, these people need to be helped, and that maybe in that way we can also advocate for different systems or different programs to help these disadvantaged people and try and level the playing field. But that's not what happened at my school's Equity Day, which I think is really funny. And, I'm not saying you can't change your life around. That's not what I'm saying. And I think that if you, get that chance, you should. But I'm saying you can't just expect anyone to change their life around. You can't just say you don't need the help, because you can do it on your own. Because sometimes you can't do things on your own. And sometimes it's good to ask for help. For example, you should never just not ask for help if you need help. And this is an interesting city. I'm going to be honest. I have been droning on this city. I have been focusing on talking about random things. So anyways, back to my point. Even in university, there are supports there. You should make sure to ask for help if you need them. That's what they tell us to do. I don't know if I will. I probably should. But I think that's an important thing. And that, why do you try to be successful in life? You try to be successful in life so that you can enjoy your life. But if in being successful, you stop enjoying your life, I think you need to reconsider why you're trying to be successful in the first place. Because maybe if you don't need to be the richest person in the world to be happy, that you don't need to try that. And that maybe it's a bit of a toxic mindset to try and just continuously do that. Because if you can be happy without doing that, then maybe you don't need to continuously strive to be super rich and lose all your friends or whatever. And by all means, if you want to be successful, go do that. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying that you can be successful in other ways. And also, what I'm saying is that I feel like if you feel like striving, being on the grind all the time is something that is making your life a bit more miserable than you think it would have been otherwise, in that case, you shouldn't. So I'm not saying, my advice is not for everyone. My advice is for, if that's what you're going through. I don't know why I just made a really long house. I was trying to wait till it would get to a pathway. If you make it long enough, it just turns the roof to this. I don't know why it's not doing that. What the hell? Why? You know what? We'll just keep that there. Maybe I'll make a. Oh my god! There's a way to make suburbs, real looking like suburbs. So what you do is you make some things here, right? I'm not doing this right, am I? Okay, you just make a bunch of houses, right? And then you have backyard. That's a bad example, actually. Let's make a better example. So let's say you have here. We'll do it here. Okay. You extend your road on both sides. And you close up the road like this. Okay, and now you have to use different colors, right? Oh my god. And so we'll make a rainbow house. We support pride in this town. This is not really the pride colors, but I digress. Do I really digress? I feel like I don't often do that. What does digress really mean? I feel like we all use it, but what is the actual definition of the word digress? Should I search that up?
So it turns out I accidentally stopped recording audio at this point. I think I just talk about digress for a bit and then show you suburbs. So it's only about 5 minutes that I lost, so I'm just gonna skip to the part where it has the suburbs in my actual city, and I talk about the different ways of showing the city. Anyways, the point of having different colored houses is so that you have a backyard with walls in it in the middle. And then I move on to make more suburbs. This is a time 3 speed. I just couldn't decide where to put the suburbs. I don't really know why I'm voicing this over. But yeah, I guess in conclusion, friends are cool, and you should try and keep in touch with them, but also you shouldn't be afraid to make new friends, I guess, is the main point. And make sure you surround yourself with people that make you happy and make you enjoy life. Anyways, here's a city I made before. Here are the suburbs in this one. And I think I'm looking for the port right now. That's what I was talking about, the port. When am I gonna get to the port? Go to the, the bell rang. Go to the port. Oh, I think I'm going now. I think I'm going, oh, there it is. There's the port. And as you can see, you can go under. And, oh, the plumber is here. There's a plumber in my house. This is not happening during the video. This is during the post-recording voiceover, which is a few hours later. Oh, now I'm wondering if these are sewers or not. And I get rid of it, and then the sewers go away. I don't know if they're sewers. Anyways, now I think I show the different ways of looking at the city. So I can make it nighttime with the white, and then I can make it without the shadows. And now nighttime without the yeah. That's main showing. And then I think I realized that I was not recording with sound. So then I look down on my phone, which I'm recording audio with, and I'm like, oh my god. And then I just stopped recording the video.